Okay. You guys can see, right, my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. First of all, good morning. Okay, to everyone. I'm Dr. Sarina. I will be course leader for this subject, research methodology. So, for this time, part 1, we only have 7 students, which is like I mentioned, it's come from the section MCD10, MCB10, and then also a student from the conventional mode. To highlight, for example, chapter 1, which part that you need to highlight more? Okay, so of course, if you base on this lecture slide is not enough. You also need to read for other sources too. For example, you do the reading from the internet, from other textbook and so on. Alright, so for the chapter 1, okay, introduction to business research. Okay, so this is the learning objective that at the end of this this topic, you guys need to know, okay, what does it mean by research, and then you want to focus your research by using the applied research or basic research, and then why managers should know about the research. Okay, and then you also need to know, okay, what is the good research, okay, or bad research, what is the limitation of the research, as well as to find the gaps, okay, from the research and the contribution, okay, from your research. So that is the one that we cover in the chapter 1. Okay, so this is the TOC. Okay, of course, in this slide, it's just cover the basic one, the general. In depth, okay, you guys can refer from any research methodology textbooks, okay, to get the more understanding. Okay, so what is research? Okay, may I know when we talk about, okay, what is research, what in your mind? In this class, I would like to have a two-way communication. Instead of you just listening, later you guys will sleepy. So in your mind, when we talk about research, okay, what you can understand.
We are looking for information to complete our search.
Okay, you're looking for the information to complete your search. So why are you looking for the information?
Information of
Because you want to know the root cause. Okay, why are you looking for the information?
To establish the fact, doctor.
To establish the fact, and again, it should like is that one is show the in advance lah. What we want to know from the root cause. Why you looking for the information? Why you want to looking for the fact? They must have the problem, right? They must have the problem, and then you don't know the answer of the problem. What caused the problem? That's why you're looking for the information and you're looking for the fact. Is it correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they will start with the issue, they will start with the problem in which you do not know the answer. That's why you do the research. Okay, from that you will know the answer. So that is the basic understanding what is research. Okay, research, why are you need to do research? Because they have a problem, they have an issue not settled. That's why you need to investigate, okay, and then from that, of course, research they consist of the process, okay, to identifying the root cause, the problem, and then you need to organize, you need to analyze. Okay, before you organize, of course, you need to collect the data, okay. And then you analyze. After that, you can present, and then when you know the real problem, then at the same time, after data collection, okay, you can do the right decision, because you cannot just assume. They must be fact. They must be they have a fact and figure. Then from that, you can suggest for the recommendation and solution of the problem. So that's why research is an objective. Okay, objective meaning you know they have a problem. So your objective is you want to find what is the problem, and then let me see, do they have anyone student join? Okay. All right. Okay, they have an objective which is you want to investigate what is the root cause, what is the problem, and then they must have a systematic scientific inquiries. They have a process proper step, okay, or investigation into a specific problem that need a solution. So that's why the keywords, why you do research, because they have a problem. You want to identify what's the problem, to find what is the root cause, okay, in order to get the information to make the meaningful decision making. So you have to follow the procedure, which is a research procedure. So research is also a structured, okay, inquiries that utilize acceptable scientific methodology. So that's why when you learn research methodology, okay, they have the procedure. For example, you must be clear who's your respondent, the number of population, what is your population size, and then what type of the instrument that you can use. And then after that, how you analyze your data. Okay, if you focus more on quantitative research, okay, of course you need to use the statistical technique. And then what type of statistical analysis that you want to use. So that is example of the systematic procedure that you need to cover in your research. Okay, to solve the problem and to create the new knowledge, okay, that is generally applicable. So that's why they have many analysis that you guys need to follow, okay, or need to do when you collect your data and you analyze your data. For example, before you collect your data, okay, you need to be clear your problem statement, what is the issue. And then at the same time, you also need to reading from the past journal articles, okay, to support your research statement. And then at the same time, also you also need to find the fact and figure, okay, about the issue. Plus, okay, what is the new knowledge that you can contribute from your research? So that one is under the significance of study. Okay, so when it comes to the business research, okay, meaning, okay, you follow the systematic and objective process of gathering, okay, recording and analyze data for the aids in the making business decisions. So like I mentioned, you do research because they have a problem or they have an issue in which you don't know what is going on, and then you need to find the solution. So that's why it's require you to do the research and follow the research process. Okay, example. Okay, Hilton Hotel would like to conduct a survey on measuring their service quality level. Why they need to conduct the survey? Because they do not know what is their service quality level, whether the customer satisfied with the service or vice versa. So that's why they conduct the research. Okay, the findings, okay, from this survey could help Hilton to further improve their customer service. So for example, let's say from their data collection, and then they analyze, they know the outcome, the customer is not satisfied with the quality of the customer service. So from that they can have the postmortem, they can have the okay, step to improve, okay, the lacking from the customer service. Okay, so that is example issue, okay, that the basically the company they would like to find out. And then why conduct research? Of course, we want to understand the problem statement, the root cause from that problem, and to make sure, Okay, when we suggest for the solution, that solution is the right solution. Okay. Okay, so this is the reason why we conduct the research, to see the truth, okay, to discover the new knowledge. At the same time, when we talk about the new knowledge, meaning we can give the new contribution in terms of the gaps in the literature, okay, gaps in the literature review. And then to describe, explain and predict what will happen for the next, okay, to provide solution to the problem, as well as the most important thing, okay, to help in decision making, to make sure when we make the decision, that decision is the right and good decision. Okay, next type of business research. Okay, basically we have two types of the business research. Is either basic or pure research, or applied research. Okay, so for the basic research, this is intended to expand from the existing theory. Okay, then you conduct the research to verify the acceptability of a given theory. For example, okay, theory about the employee satisfaction. Okay, this one, this research already did from the past research. And then when you conduct again a research regarding the employee satisfaction, okay, from your research finding, is there have any new knowledge, new theory that you can contribute? Then this is show your contribution from the research is under the significance of the study. Okay, that one basic research. They already have the existing theory. Okay, and then from that, when you conduct your research, you can contribute or you can extend the knowledge, okay, of the theory. So example, you might be interested to know whether personal characteristics influence people career choices. Okay, for example, previous study, they already did this study. And then when you do your study, okay, maybe you can identify they have a new personal characteristic in which they not cover from the past study, but in your study you cover, then you give the new contribution, then it can be extended to the literature review. Okay, or if they have any gaps from the past literature review, then when you did your study, you come up with the new theory, then it's also contribution, okay, to the literature review. And then example 2, a university lecturer may be interested to investigating the factor that contribute to the student achievement motivation as a matter of mere academic interest. This one meaning previously they have a theory. Again, when you did your study, okay, maybe you can come up with the new theory, or you can extend, okay, from the previous theory. Then this one under classified basic research. Okay, it's extend to the new knowledge. Okay, for the applied research, okay, research undertaken to answer a question about a specific problem or to make the decision about a particular course of action or policy. So basically, most of us will conduct the applied research, because when you know they have a problem, and then from that you do the research in order to find what is the root cause of the problem, and you can come up with the good decision making. That one we call it applied research. So as example, the company enjoy 500 million in sales and a 15% gross profit margin, okay, before taxes. Cost of material is 60% of income from sales. And the material manager believed that 20 million can be saved through improved purchasing policy. A research should be conducted in order to develop a new improved purchasing policy. So meaning from the specific issue, okay, you do your research in order to get the meaningful or a better outcome lah. That one we call it applied research. Okay, do you have any question to differentiate between basic research versus applied research? Hello.
No, doctor.
Okay. Alright, and then this is the table show the difference between basic research and applied research in terms of the contribution. Okay, for the basic research, is provide a basic theoretical knowledge. What I mean, okay, like I mentioned, okay, they already have a theory, and then from that, when you do your research, you can extend the theory. Okay, that is your contribution, especially for the literature review. For the applied research, okay, to provide practical application of the result, meaning based on the problem, and then you can relate with the existing theory and you can come up with your new contribution. That is the applied research. So for the problem area, basic research, the selection of problem is within the researcher prerogative. Okay, meaning it's a let's say like you are expert in the service quality. So because of that, you are comfortable to do a basic research because it's within your knowledge and control. Okay, for the applied research, the selection of problem is within the demand of the employer. So it depends on the situation. Let's say the company faced with the high turnover. So the manager asks you, okay, to do the research why the company face the high turnover rate. So that one applied research. For the quality, basic research, the quality of research is based on the absolute norms of the scientific rigor. And then for the applied, the quality of research is based on the ability to address the problem with applicable solution. So applied research is more empirical and practical. Okay, meaning applied research is more on the specific research based on the problem, okay, that any company or people face lah. And then purpose for the basic research, the objective are to deliver information and knowledge. Okay, it's more on extended the existing theory. Whereas for the applied research, the objective are to improve or to solve the current issue or problem in an organization or country face. Alright, so my question. Okay, now you already know the basic research, the applied research, and why you need to do the research. So for this course, we're gonna have two groups. So may I know now, okay, you want to focus on the applied research or basic research for your research methodology? Yeah, any comment?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Farah here.
Group 1, we have a group Farah kan? Group 1,
Noisy.
come again?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be noisy in the background. I think for our research, we're gonna, I think lah, we're gonna do more on, we're gonna choose the applied research.
Okay, so we have two group. We have a group Farah and then the other one group Tan. Okay, you are group Arif, Farah and Nur Shafina ke? May I know your name?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's mean group Farah.
Sorry?
You are group Farah member? Hello.
Doctor, Farah is under SmartLink group actually.
SmartLink group.
Yeah, Farah, Nurshi and Arif.
Okay.
Yeah, the just now that mentioned that she quite interested on applied research is Farah actually.
Okay. Right. Because for RM, we have group Farah and group Tan. Okay, so group Farah, your research interest more on applied research. How about group 10?
I think we are going for the applied research also.
All right. Okay. So why I asking this question? Because I want you guys clear from the beginning. Your focus is on applied research. Then easy for you to narrow. Okay, to narrow your research focus. Okay. Right. So both group will focus on the applied research. Meaning you will start with the problem, and then from the problem, okay, you guys will try to find the solution, okay, of the problem. All right. So next, okay, please take note, because when you do later your initial proposal, you also need to mention, okay, your group will focus on the applied research. Okay, and then next, the next question will be whether you guys want to focus on the qualitative or quantitative research or mixed method. Mixed method meaning you want to focus both. Alright, so let's take a look quantitative research. Okay, so basically when we talk about the quantitative research, okay, the keywords means you will play with the number. Plus, of course, you need to know the knowledge in terms of the statistical analysis knowledge. Okay, that is for the quantitative research. So if you choose for the quantitative research, meaning you guys need to prepare the questionnaire. Okay, so the questionnaire means, okay, when you search for the fact using the objective measurements, statistical analysis of the numeric data, okay, to understand and explain the phenomena. So at the same time, under the quantitative research, other than questionnaire, you also need to test the hypothesis. Okay, hypothesis, that one cover under the statistical analysis. Okay, so again, keyword for the quantitative research, okay, they must have the numeric data. You have to prepare your questionnaire. Okay, and you have to know the knowledge, statistical knowledge. Okay, next for the qualitative research. Okay, this one meaning should not play with the statistical technique, but in terms of the instrument, you have to conduct the in-depth interview. Okay, so when you conduct the in-depth interview, you need to do the transcribing. Okay, you need to transcribe, and then you have to quote what the respondent said. Then from that, you have to discuss the issue. Okay. For the qualitative research, it based on the attribute. Okay, and it's more on the subjective. Okay, that is the qualitative research. It's not involved numeric. You not use the statistical technique to analyze your data. You analyze your data based on the narration, what's the respondent said. Okay. Okay, this one show the difference between quantitative and qualitative. So if you choose for the quantitative research approach, okay, meaning you want to study the relationship, the cause and effect. Okay, if you choose the qualitative research approach, you want to understand the social phenomenon. Okay, and then the design for the quantitative, this one you will develop prior to the study. Okay, whereas for the qualitative, you evolve during the study. Okay, meaning to understand under the qualitative, okay, you start from the grounded theory. Meaning you start from the primary, you start from the fresh, you don't know the exact variable. The variable you only can know after you did your interview. Then you can put it in the team. For the quantitative, you already know your variables. That's why you can develop, okay, prior to study. And then under the quantitative approach, okay, this one, the theory already there, you just test the theory, okay. Whereas for the qualitative, okay, you are the one who need to generate the theory. Okay, so meaning under the qualitative is you start from the primary. You don't have the secondary source. Okay, you are the one who develop. Okay, you are the one who develop the theory. Okay, from your finding lah. Actually, the theory already there, and then you are the one who can merge. Okay, for example, when you study about the satisfaction, okay, basically the theory involve like the motivation theory, and then it's also will involve the quality theory. So you are the one who will generate the theory. Okay, but for the quantitative, the theory already there, you just prove the theory. Okay, and then in terms of the tools, quantitative, okay, you use a standardized instrument. Okay, for example, you use the questionnaire. Okay, and how you create your questionnaire, how you create a question must based on the existing theory or based on the past study. You cannot create your questionnaire question based on your opinion. No, the questionnaire that you create must come from the previous research or come from the theory. Okay, for the qualitative, okay, when you ask the question during your in-depth interview, you can create the interview question, okay, based on the situation, based on the profile of your respondent, together with the supporting from the previous theory. Okay, so meaning you can also create your own question based on your judgment for the qualitative approach. For the quantitative, you cannot create your own question based on your judgment. The questionnaire must be based on the theory, based on the previous research. Okay, when it comes to the sample, under the quantitative, okay, it involves a large sample. Okay, later I will show you how do you know your sample size if you know your population. Because for the quantitative research, you cannot simply, oh, I just want to collect data, only 50 respondents. Cannot. They have the procedure that you need to follow. But for the qualitative, okay, sample size, this one, because you did your interview, in-depth interview, basically the number of respondents is not large compared to the quantitative research. So for the qualitative research approach, okay, normally you will conduct the interview, okay, 10 up to 30 respondents. Okay, because you conduct your interview, in-depth interview. Okay, why the range between 10 to 30? For example, you interview person 1, respondent 1 until respondent 5, and then the pattern, the answer is the same. Okay, so for that case, you don't need to interview respondent 6 until 10 until 30 because you already get the pattern. Okay, that one the advantage of the qualitative, but for the quantitative cannot. Okay, if you distribute your questionnaire, the sample size must based on your population size. They have a formula. Okay, for the sample. Later I will share with you. Okay, next under the analysis. Okay, statistical analysis of numeric data. This one is a compulsory under the quantitative research. So that's why you have to be familiarized. Okay, when you use the SPSS software, how to use that software, how to insert the template, how to create the template, and then how to key in the data after you receive your questionnaire. Okay, and then which type of the statistical analysis that you need to choose. So for example, the statistical analysis that you will choose under the quantitative research, like the descriptive statistic, and then regression analysis, reliability analysis, normal, okay, normal test. Okay, that is example the statistical analysis that you need to conduct when you choose your quantitative research approach. Okay, for the qualitative analysis, this one your analysis based on what your respondent said. So that one we call it narrative. Okay, narrative description and interpretation. So it's like the qualitative research approach is more simple, but it give meaningful lah. Okay. Alright. So do you have any question when come to the qualitative and quantitative research? Any questions so far?
No, doctor.
Okay.
No, doctor.
Alright. So may I know? Okay. What is your interest? You guys want to focus on the quantitative research or qualitative research? This one just to get the rough idea lah.
Doctor, may I know that for the qualitative research, for the, you mean it's like we are going to interview with the person, right?
Yes.
And then the person, for example, did the person need to be specific for like professional in that category or anything?
Okay, that one basically is we relate back to your problem statement. Okay, problem statement. What is your variable, dependence variable and independence variable? So let's say if your problem statement, example yeah, high turnover rate among employees. So let's say the employees too maybe the middle level. So your respondent must be the middle level. You cannot ask from the bottom or from the top. It depends on your problem statement.
Okay, then how many samples do we need to take? For example, like just now you say maybe 5 to 6. If they're going to be a same answer, then you can stop, or any specific number qualities we need to go through.
Okay, so basically for the qualitative, okay, it's between 10 to 30. Okay, so to get the more variety answer, because later when you do your report under the analysis, you have to quote what your respondent said. So to get the more variety answer, so I recommend your number, the respondent number will be more than 10, but can be up to 15 or 20.
Oh, all right. Thank you, doctor.
The reason why, if you just choose only 5 respondents, and then when you do your writing chapter 4 results, then it's like you have the limitation in terms of the contents, the outcome. Do you get what I mean? If you have more respondents, they have maybe they have a more idea, more input that they share.
Yeah, understand.
Okay. All right. So back to the question. Okay. You guys, as of today lah. Okay. Because I believe later when you do your reading, of course, you will change your mind. Maybe previously, you think, oh, I want to focus on the qualitative. After you do your journal articles, you read your journal article, then you want to switch to the quantitative. That one, no problem. This one just to get the rough idea. Okay. Your research interest lah. So for the group Farah, your group want to focus qualitative or quantitative or mix? Mix meaning you cover both.
Doctor, I answer on behalf of the group. We go for qualitative, insyaAllah lah. Tapi tak tahu lah after this macam mana.
It's okay, just to know from your side kan.
Yeah,
How about group 10?
For us, for now, we want to focus on the qualitative.
Okay, no problem. Okay, why I ask you, because yeah, if you choose for the quantitative, you have to also think about the time frame, the probability that you can get back the answer from your respondent lah when you distribute your questionnaire. Okay, is there have any probability that you can get back the questionnaire within the time frame or vice versa? Because why? For the previous semester, January semester, we have 78 groups project paper. Okay, so 78, 58 groups. Okay, they cannot complete their project paper on time. So that's why for the May semester, they continue their project paper. This one because all of them, they choose quantitative research. Okay, and they start with the data collection. Okay, they have challenges lah. For example, okay, they can't get the full respondent based on the sample size, because like I mentioned, under the quantitative research, they need to follow the sample size based on the population size. So for example, like let's say the sample size, they have to collect 360 respondent. So within 14 week, meaning project paper 14 weeks. Okay, but of course you need your time to do the report, to do the analysis. So in order to collect the data, student only have plus minus 2 to 3 weeks. If the data collection process drag, of course the next step also will be drag. Okay, so that's why when you decide, okay, which research approach you want to choose, qualitative or quantitative, you also need to think all the possible courses lah. Okay, for the qualitative, although it's like simple and then can be managed within the time period, but they also have the other challenges. For example, what the challenges? Okay, first when you conduct your interview, you have to record the session. Okay, record the interview session. So when you record the interview session, when you go back, you have to transcribe. Okay, you have to listen back the recording. You have to transcribe. You cannot use your own word. You have to exactly use the respondent words, because later when you write in your report, you have to type exactly what the respondent said. Okay, you cannot use your own words. So that's why it will take time. Take time in terms of the transcribe. Okay, so basically that is the challenges under the qualitative method. Alright, so perhaps you guys clear now which research approach that you want to focus is either qualitative or quantitative, or also can be both. Okay, mixed method lah. If you choose both, then we call it mixed method. Okay.
Doctor, I got one question here. So for the data collection kan, I mean for quali ke quanti ke, so data collection tu, it will be happen during our research methodology time or during our project paper time?
Okay, for the data collection, how you collect your data must be stated in your chapter 3 research methodology, because that one show how you conduct your research. So example okay, how do you know your sample size? Okay, let me show you. We have the table. Okay. Craigie and Morgan table. This one for those who choose for the quantitative research, not the qualitative, yeah. So if we refer the Craigie and Morgan table, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
It's
doctor.
too small.
Okay. Okay, if you look at here, N, the capital N stand for the population, S stand for the sample size. Okay, let's say if your population 2,600.
Sorry for interrupt, doctor. It's too small. We can't see it.
Oh, sorry. How about now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Better.
better.
Now can Alright, so let's say this N, capital N is the population size. This is a sample size. For those who choose who decide to select quantitative research approach, let's say if your population size 2,600, okay, your sample size must be 335. So meaning when you distribute your questionnaire, you must get your respondent number 335. And in reality, in order to get back 335, of course, you need to distribute more than this. For example, you distribute 500 questionnaire, then you have the high probability to get back 335, okay, for your sample size. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why for your research methodology, is more on the reporting, how you conduct your research. For the data collection, that one you will start do when you register for the project paper. So for example, let's say in your research methodology, chapter 3, you stated your population size 2,600. Therefore, your sample size will be 335. When you register for the project paper, you will start do your data collection. You distribute your questionnaire up to 500 respondents, and you need to make sure you get back 335. When you do your report, your analysis must base on 335, in which you need to settle within plus minus 10 weeks. Okay, do you get what I mean?
Yes, okay.
It sounds impossible for us to done it within this limited time.
Yeah, that's why this is not impossible. I mean, we have a student yang completed the project paper within the time period. So meaning, yes, student can manage, okay, to collect the data lah when they distribute the questionnaire. So basically they will use the Google form lah. Okay, if you distribute a questionnaire hard copy, that one is really difficult to get back within the time period. But if you use okay, online Google form through your for example lah, you have a WhatsApp group, then you share, then that one is possible to get the respondent. But however, I will leave it to you. Please discuss with your group member whether you want to focus on the quantitative research approach or qualitative research approach. Okay. All right. So, okay, back to our slide. Okay. So it's a like under the qualitative. Okay, you use just a small number. Like I mentioned, it can be the range between 10 up to 30 respondent. But the limitation, if you use you just use 10 respondent, when it comes to the chapter 4, when you want to report your outcome, maybe you have the limitation, okay, to write the outcome because you just have 10 respondent. If you have more than that, then when you report your analysis, your outcome, you have more contents to write lah. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, scientific research. Okay, this one it doesn't matter. Okay, your research approach, qualitative or quantitative, this one both research must involve the scientific research. Okay, meaning, okay, must be based on the purpose lah. Okay, when you do the research, that's mean they have a problem, you want to find what is the root cause of the problem, and then of course in order to give the right decision or solution to make the good decision making, they have a process. Okay, it cannot just based on assume, okay, or based on your judgment. Okay, they must be based on the fact. So for example, if you focus on the qualitative, okay, to understand the problem, that's why you do in-depth interview. Okay, from that you can see the pattern. Okay, from the pattern you can relate with the theory, and then from the theory and from your journal reading, Okay, if they have some research, they have a researcher who also did the same research, okay, like your case, then you can see what is the outcome, and then what is the suggestion, okay, to solve the problem. Okay, so they must have the purposive, okay, rigor, and then testability. Okay, testability for the quantitative, of course, you do the hypothesis testing. Then from that, you will do the correlation analysis to see whether they have a relationship, okay, or not. If they have a relationship, is the relationship they have a positive relationship or negative relationship, or whether the relationship is a strong or weak. Okay, that one we call it testability. Okay, and then I encourage for your research methodology, and then next when you continue with your project paper, to make sure you can finish within the timeline. Okay, you can replicate. Okay, replicate from the past study. For example, you search, you do your journal. Okay, I mean you search for the journal article. And then let's say that journal article study about the high turnover or the work-life balance. Okay, work-life balance. Okay, let's say that study they did work-life balance. Katalah the country from the Thailand lah. But from that journal article, you also want to replicate the study, but your respondent will be in Malaysia. That one can, because basically kan, for the RM or research methodology or project paper, if you replicate from the past study, then they have a high probability you can complete your research within the time period. Okay, and other lah. Okay, advantage of the scientific approach. Okay, this one, like I mentioned, scientific is either, it doesn't matter qualitative or quantitative, must be relate with the theory. Okay, and then through the operationalization as well as the observation. So, for example, if you choose quantitative or qualitative, of course, you also relate with the theory. Okay, and then for the observation, this one is more on the qualitative approach, because when you interview the respondent, and then you also need to do the observation. Okay, do the site observation. Next, deductive and inductive. Okay, for the inductive model, this one they will start from the particular to the general. Okay, meaning from the specific issue to the general. For the deductive model, from the general to the specific. This one it depends on your, I mean you need to find the journal article, and then from that you will know whether you implement or you apply inductive model or deductive model. Okay, it doesn't matter qualitative or quantitative. Okay, both approach also can use both model. Okay, the keyword for inductive model, okay, from the particular, meaning from the specific to the general, whereas for the deductive model, from the general to specific. Okay, so I think to understand deductive and deductive or inductive model, okay, if you look at deductive or deduction, okay, deduction, if you look at here, from general, okay, from general to specific. So meaning from general, meaning they will start from the theory. Okay, from the theory, how do you know the theory? Of course, it's require you to find the journal articles to understand the issue. Okay, from that, you will know which theory that you need to use, and then you also need to develop the research problem statement, the research question, research objective, and then from that, you need to develop the hypothesis. Your hypothesis must reflect your independence variable and dependence variable. Okay, so when you do the hypothesis, okay, of course, if you choose quantitative research approach, okay, to get the answer from the hypothesis testing, you will distribute the questionnaire. Okay, when you distribute the questionnaire from that, okay, you need to use the SPSS software. You key in your data and then you click the analysis. Under the analysis part, you choose descriptive analysis. You choose the correlation analysis to see the relationship. Okay, so this process show from the general to the specific. Okay, then you get your results. Okay. This is under the deduction or here kan we call deductive model. For induction or inductive model, meaning from the specific to the general. It will start from the observation. Meaning specific, you already know the problem, so you zoom that problem. Okay, you know your respondent. In order to get the clear picture about what is going on, that's why you do the observation and you do the in-depth interview. Okay, from that, you know, oh, this is the issue happened. Okay, this is the root cause. And then from that, okay, you will refer to the theory. Okay, with this root cause, it showed which theory that can you applied. Okay, so this one we call it induction. From the specific and then comes to the general. Then you can relate which theory can be used. Any question, guys? So if you choose for the qualitative approach, okay, this one meaning you will start your model induction model. If you choose the quantitative, okay, quantitative approach, you will start with the deduction model, meaning you have to find as much as possible journal articles, and then you come up with the theory. From the theory, you will create your questionnaire based on the theory. Then you distribute the questionnaire. Then you analyze, you get the results. Okay, that one under deduction. For the induction, okay, this one before you okay, you run your interview, in-depth interview. Of course, you need the source. Okay, the source also you can refer from the journal articles to get the idea. Okay, basically, if involve the high turnover rate or work-life balance. So basically, what is the issue matters or rise lah when it's related to the work-life balance or high turnover rate. Okay, from that you can create the question. Okay, you can create your own question as well as you can create the question from the literature review, from the past journal articles, okay, or from the theory. Any questions so far?
Dr. Tan's here. Okay, I have two questions. The first one will be, just now, doctor said that we can choose the way for the research in mix, right?
Yes.
How's the mix going? How are we going to mix it?
Okay, so for the mix method, that's mean you will conduct the interview together with you distribute the questionnaire, and you can run concurrently. That is the mix method, meaning you cover both qualitative and quantitative.
Okay, so it means that for example, for the qualitative, we need to interview around 15 persons. So if mixed, then maybe we can go through just 7 persons, and then for the quantitative also will, like, for example, we need to do around like 500 the Q&A survey, and then maybe go through half. So it's both half quality quantity, right? Means.
Okay, let me make it clear. Yeah? So if you want to choose mixed method, okay, mixed method meaning you have to prepare your questionnaire. So under the quantitative, okay, it depends on your population size. So for example, your population size 2,600. So that's mean when you distribute a questionnaire, you have to make sure you get back 335 as your sample size. That is for the quantitative. And if you want to use mixed method under the qualitative, first under the quantitative, you have to make sure you get 335 for the interview part. Okay, you no need to interview until 335. You can interview 10 up to 30. That's one we call it mixed method.
Okay, understand.
Okay, so mixed method consists of the qualitative and quantitative. Okay, for the quantitative, you also need to follow this table. You cannot simply, oh, I want to do the mixed method, but for the questionnaire, I just want to distribute only 10%. Cannot. You have to follow the procedure.
So means that if we are going to choose for the qualitative, we also need to interview like how many person, if like for the population is 2,000, just now the doctor said that 2,600, and then for the qualitative we'll be going to like 335, and then for the quantitative will be.
Okay, if you choose quantitative, okay, quantitative based on the quantity, right? If the population this amount and the number, this is the sample size 335. If you want to choose qualitative, this table is not applicable. Okay, so for the qualitative, you have to conduct your in-depth interview. Okay, the respondent number between 10 to 30. So you just follow that like that lah. This table is not applicable.
Okay. So my second question is, when we go through for the interview, then the language have to be English, or can be like, because sometimes when we go through, maybe they answer in Malay, or maybe in Chinese, or maybe somehow in Indian, and then so is it acceptable, or have all to be English since we're going to record it?
Okay, so for the in-depth interview, okay, basically our normal practice lah. Let's say if you interview Malay people, so if the Malay people they can understand English, then you can conduct in English. But if not in English, you can interview in Malay. But in your written report, if like case, because our language we use the English, okay, then you have to translate.
Oh, we just need to translate that. Still acceptable lah.
Yes, still acceptable as long as the meaning must be same.
Okay, note.
All right. Okay. Any other question? Because yeah, chapter 1 is important. Okay. As a guideline lah for you, then easy for you to plan your next move. Question? Okay, if no, then we proceed. Okay, characteristic of a good research. Okay, of course, okay, the research problem, research question, objective should be clear stated in your problem statement. So please be aware when you write your problem statement, the contents in your problem statement, you have to highlight the main issue or the main problem. You also need to insert what is your independence variable and dependence variable. Plus, you also need to insert the fact and figures to support your research problem issue. And then the supporting evidence or support from the past research. Okay, for example, they have a particular person already did the same issue like your research intention. then you can also insert in your problem statement. And then the research gap or limitation, for example, let's say they don't have any study, okay, like what your intention to do, okay, this one you also need to insert in the problem statement. We also call it research gaps, or they have the few study in these matters. Then you have to give the supporting evidence, the name of the past research who also have the same, okay, same understanding, they have a lacking in the past research. Okay, so that one you need to include in your problem statement. Okay, and a researcher has to draw a clear understanding between symptom of the organization problem, okay, the manager, the perception of the problem, and the research problem. So that's why, like I mentioned, in your problem statement, because the name problem statement, you have to highlight the problem. Okay, that's why you want to do the research. Okay, next, research process detail. Okay, research process and the procedure used should be described in the sufficient detail. So that's why, like I mentioned, when you stated the problem, research problem in your problem statement, okay, you need to give the supporting evidence through the fact and figure. And you also need to do the citation. Is there have any past researcher also did the same thing and found this is the problem, okay, that the company or the people or the country face. Okay, must be detailed. Cannot just a general statement in your problem statement. Okay, I repeat, your problem statement cannot general. Must be detailed, must be specific. Even you also need to include the independence variable and your dependence variable. Okay, next, well-planned research. Okay, the procedural research design should be carefully planned, okay, to yield the result that as the objective as possible. So that's why when you do the research, you must have a systematic plan. Okay, so for example, step number 1, maybe you don't know what the issue or the problem that you interest lah to conduct the research. So what you should do, maybe to get the idea, maybe you can just Google what is the hot issue or the problem we face now. Okay, then from that, when you know the keywords, then you can start find the journal articles, okay, to get the more clear picture about the issue. So that's why they have a systematic plan. So that's why for RM, it'll be good, okay, each of the group you can start do your something like a Gantt chart lah. Okay, if you have your Gantt chart, your milestone, then it's easy for you to plan your time management. Okay, because again, for the research methodology, we only have 7 weeks kan, it's covered for part 1. So it's quite intensive. So that's why you have to start from now. You cannot just wait and see. Okay, you wait your friend start first, then you follow. Cannot. You have to start from now. Okay. Limitation of research, of course, basically when the student report in their written report, they will talk about, okay, they have a time constraint, and then it's hard to get the respondent to reply the questionnaire on time. Okay, that's example. So this one, yes, you can insert in your written report. Okay, other than that, you also need to insert the limitation of study. For example, due to time constraint, you just focus in the Klang Valley. It'd be good if to get a more clear picture, to get the more accurate result, the research should be conducted okay, for one Malaysia. So that is the thing that you can insert in your limitation of research. Okay. Ethical issue. Okay, this one, of course, let's say if you choose for the quantitative research, let's say the sample size should be 335, and you report in your written report, you collect your data with the sample size 335, but actual, is it correct? You distribute your questionnaire and you get back 335. It can be issue if they have a case student or the learner not follow the proper research proposal. For example, okay, in the report you are the one who fill up the questionnaire, not the real respondent. So this is an example for the ethical issue that need to avoid lah, because later the result will be biased. We not get the accurate answer. The integrity is really, really important. Okay, and then let's say if you choose for the qualitative research approach, you did your in-depth interview. So you have to mention to the respondent, oh, this is a confidential, and then your outcome is just for the learning process. We not publish your name in the written report. So that's why when you write the respondent statement, you not write the respondent name. You will write respondent 1. Okay, respondent 1 said, okay, what, blah, blah, blah. And then you put the bracket respondent 1. And then next, respondent 2 said what. So you not state their name. Okay, so this is under the ethical issues. Okay, and then next, okay, the manager-researcher relationship. Okay, this one is more on how you work in the team lah. So for example, like your research methodology, even for the project paper, you will do it by group, not individual. So that's why in terms of the assessment, okay, our assessment based on the group, but we also have the peer evaluation form. Peer evaluation form, this one, okay, because we don't want the case like a free rider, your name in the group, but you not contribute. You cannot get the same marks like other members. That is one thing. Okay, the other one, for the manager gather information, okay, research contribution to the research conflicts. This one you need to be managed. Okay, so again, the time management is important. Okay, when you delegate the task, okay, you have to study your team member. Okay, for example, your team member maybe he or she good in terms of the approaching people. Then you give that particular member to lead the interview session. And then the rest, maybe you have another team member who good for the listening, and you can give that member to do the transcribe. But again, if you do only one person to do the transcribing, maybe it will take time. Then it will be good you delegate, okay, equal for the transcribing. Every member need to do the transcribing, but who will lead the transcribing? Okay, so this also important. Okay, next, managerial value of business research. Again, okay, when you identifying the problems, okay, you can see the opportunity, which is the opportunity, the contribution is you can contribute to the new theory or literature review, as well as you contribute to in order to solve the problem lah. Okay. And then, of course, we go through the process of diagnosis, assessment. So that's why diagnosis and assessment, you require a lot of the journal article. You need to read a lot of journal article to understand the whole picture. Okay, even the assessment, the variable, what dependence variable, independence variable, you only know from your reading. Because you cannot just assume, oh, I want to decide the dependence variable and independent by my own. No. Okay, that one must based on the journal article. From that, you can identify the dependence variable and independence variable. Okay, and then selecting and implementing a course of action. Okay, this one again from your journal article reading. Okay, you can know what the suggestion from the past research. Okay. And then evaluating the course of action. Okay, next for the internal, external, this one, okay, just for your knowledge. Okay, the most important thing for your research methodology course here is cover chapter 1 to 3. For the chapter 1, you must be clear, okay, which research approach that you like to focus. Okay, applied research or basic research, and then is it a qualitative or quantitative? Okay, and then of course the issue lah, the research issue. Okay, the manager faced with 2 or more possible courses of action, okay, has to deal with the initial decision of whether or not research should be conducted. So that's why, like I mentioned, if you choose for the quantitative, and if you know the sample size is large sample size, okay, is it possible to get back the survey form from the respondent? Because you have to take into the consideration in terms of the time constraint, the availability of data. For example, okay, you only have this one is more on your project paper lah, but in your research methodology class, you plan what you will do for your project paper. Okay, so let's say if you study, you want to collect data One Malaysia, okay, that one is also will be give a trouble to you, because for the data collection within 2 to 3 weeks, it's hard for you guys to get back the answer from the respondent. So instead of One Malaysia, then why not if you just focus, example, just focus data collection within the Klang Valley. That one is more possible lah. Okay, and then the nature of the decision, benefit versus cost. Okay, that's why basically if the student choose quantitative research, they will do their survey via online. Okay, example like a Google form. Okay, not manual lah. Okay. Okay, next, 2 ways of generating research idea from the previous research like I mentioned. Okay, to make sure you guys can complete, okay, your research within the time period, it will be good if you can replicate, okay, from the past research. Meaning you not start from zero in terms of the theory, in terms of the questionnaire. You replicate from the past study, but for the data collection or your respondent, you choose your respondent based on your convenience lah. For example, let's say you stay at Klang Valley. If you want to do the interview, you just interview respondent from the Klang Valley. So that is example. Okay. So I encourage you guys do your research using the replication. Okay, from the past research, then you conduct your own research. Because I believe, okay, if the replication, okay, the theory already there, you just need to understand the theory instead of you looking, okay, which theory is suitable to use. Okay, searching for the theory, and that one it will take time. Okay, and other step lah. Okay, it depends on your I will leave it to you. Okay, you decide, okay, which way that you want to use. Okay. Development of theory, like I mentioned, if you replicate from the past study, so development of the theory, you already know which theory that the past study used. So what you should do, you just focus that theory and understand the theory and put it in your written report. Okay. Yeah, so this one cover chapter 1. Any question, guys?